LA is not ready for the Olympics. In 2028, the world is coming to Los Angeles for the Olympics. But behind the excitement and spectacle, a massive crisis is brewing. And the person in charge of policing the city is sounding the alarm. At a recent budget meeting, LAPD Chief Jim McDonnell dropped a bombshell. The department doesn't have the officers, the equipment, or even a dedicated budget to keep the games safe. Time is running out and fast.
Imagine knowing for more than a decade that the entire world is coming to your city and still reaching the point where your own police chief is warning you that you do not have enough officers, enough equipment, or a settled plan to pay for it. And now, one of the ideas reportedly being considered is pausing police academy classes so instructors can be moved back onto the streets. Think about that. Los Angeles may prepare for the biggest security event in its history by temporarily slowing down the training of future officers. Guys, that's not preparation. That's triage. Today we're going through what the city says it needs, what it currently has, and why ordinary Angelinos should be paying very close attention. And before we begin, like this video, subscribe to Wolf Kage Los Angeles, and share it with someone who believes the Olympics are going to magically fix this city. They may be about to expose how deeply broken the system already is.
This week, LAPD Chief Jim McDonnell went in front of LA City Council and expressed deep concerns about the budgeting crisis and the staffing crisis that they are experiencing at LAPD, and warns that at this rate, they will not be ready for the Olympics.
I think this is the most important part of the entire story. This warning is not coming from a random person on social media. It's not coming from someone trying to embarrass Los Angeles. It's coming from the person responsible for policing the city. And when your own police chief has to walk into City Hall and explain that the current staffing and budget situation may not be enough for the Olympics, that should end all public relations talk about everything being under control. Guys, Los Angeles had years to prepare. The Olympics did not suddenly appear on the calendar last week. So how did we get this close with the city still trying to determine where the officers, where the vehicles, where the equipment and money will come from? That is the real scandal. Not that the chief is sounding the alarm. The scandal is that he has a reason to sound the alarm. Listen, Los Angeles does not have a surprise problem. Los Angeles has a preparation problem.
Go ahead. Requested funding to purchase vehicles, technology, and specialized equipment to be able to do the Olympics. In addition, the $1 billion budget is for all agencies involved in the Olympics, not just the LAPD.
We need to separate two numbers because people are beginning to mix them together. The first is approximately $96 million. That is LAPD's request for hundreds of vehicles, upgraded communications equipment, computers, body cameras, and other equipment connected to Olympic operations. The second number is much larger. LAPD has estimated that staffing the Olympic and Paralympic Games could cost approximately $1.15 billion. That estimate includes LAPD personnel, overtime, outside agencies, lodging, and the cost of continuing normal police service while the games are happening. And that last part matters. Los Angeles cannot move every available officer toward Olympic venues and simply tell the rest of the city, hold on, wait. People are still calling 911. Businesses will still need assistance. Neighborhoods still need patrols. The Olympics do not replace the normal responsibilities of the city. They are added on top of them. The real cost is not just protecting the Olympics. It's protecting the Olympics without abandoning us, Los Angeles residents.
Part of the problem is a simple numbers game that the city is losing, and losing badly. The LAPD is staring down a historic staffing crisis. Today, the city has about 8,600 sworn personnel. It's been nearly 25 years since the number of officers has been this low, and it's projected to keep shrinking. Since 2019, the force has lost well over 1,000 officers, and people are leaving faster than new recruits can be brought in.
See, this is why the Olympic security problem cannot be separated from the everyday public safety problem. Los Angeles, is not beginning with a fully staffed department and then adding an international event. It's beginning with one of its lowest staffing levels in decades. Current projections have placed the department in the mid 8,000s, with officials warning that attrition can continue to outpace hiring. And this is not just simply about placing more uniforms around the stadium. The Olympic and Paralympic period will stretch across approximately 66 days. That requires officers for venues, transportation routes, crowds, protests, emergencies, and even just normal neighborhood operations. LAPD has estimated it may be able to supply only about 1/3 of the peak personnel needed. The remaining officers would have to come from other agencies. So the plan depends not only on Los Angeles solving its own shortage, but also on successfully borrowing thousands of people from somewhere else. When a city cannot staff its everyday obligations, a global event does not eliminate the shortage. It exposes it.
We have approximately 17,148 positions that we're authorized to fill. However, due to both the impairment rate and the vacancy rate, we have 4,166 vacancies, or approximately 24% of the departments unavailable.
And this is where the problem becomes much bigger than the city of Los Angeles. You see, Olympic events will be spread throughout Los Angeles County and across Southern California. That means LAPD will not be handling this alone. The Sheriff's Department and numerous local, state, and federal agencies will also have major responsibilities. But according to the testimony you just heard, LASD was already dealing with more than 4,000 unavailable or vacant positions. That doesn't mean that every one of those positions represents a patrol deputy. The department includes sworn officers, custody personnel, and civilian employees. But it still shows the scale of the institutional staffing problem. One understaffed agency is expected to support another understaffed agency, while both continue serving millions of residents. That is not a small scheduling challenge. That is a regional capacity problem. The Olympics are regional. Unfortunately, the staffing crisis appears to be regional too.
Now, I just made a video last week speaking about how the Olympics is not good for LA and how the Olympics is going to pick and choose what they need to fix, and they're going to pour money into areas and businesses and entities instead of fixing the infrastructure and the communities of where all of these people are going to travel. They're going to travel on our roadways. Our cities are riddled. Our streets in our cities are riddled with potholes.
This is the part that regular folks that live here understand immediately. Whenever residents complain about potholes, about broken sidewalks, dirty streets, about damaged infrastructure or failing services, we are repeatedly told that the city is facing a budget crisis. There is never enough money. There are never enough employees. There's always another study, another committee, another explanation. But when the international cameras arrive, money suddenly appears. Money suddenly moves. Equipment can be ordered. Overtime authorized. Certain streets can be cleared. Certain corridors repaired. The question is not whether Los Angeles should provide security for the Olympics. Obviously, it must. The question is why the basic competence always appears only when the city is preparing to impress outsiders. Residents pay taxes every year. We should not have to wait for the Olympics to receive a functioning city. Los Angeles should not have to pretend the Olympics are happening every year just to get its streets fixed.
This is why I say the Olympics is going to be a horrible time for Los Angeles, because all of a sudden they're going to miraculously find all this money to do up all this stuff and to fix these things and to do all these things. And then all of those jobs that they're going to make and require during this time, they're all going to disappear once the Olympics is out of here.
That is the fear that many residents have. Not that nothing will be done, but that everything will be temporary. Temporary jobs, temporary cleanup crews, temporary security, temporary repairs concentrated around venues, around tourist routes. And then, after the closing ceremony, the cameras leave, the visitors leave, and guess what? All the urgency disappears. That would be the worst possible legacy. Los Angeles should not spend billions creating a polished corridor between the airport, hotels, and Olympic venues while communities 1 mile away continue living with the same neglect. The measure of success cannot be simply whether the television broadcast looks beautiful. The measure should be what remains for the people who live here. Did transportation actually improve? Are the streets now safer? Is the equipment still useful? Did neighborhoods receive lasting benefits? Or did Los Angeles build a temporary stage and call it progress? A successful Olympics should leave Los Angeles stronger, not simply better photographed.
But here's the next problem, maybe a bigger problem than simple numbers. It's a massive brain drain of experienced officers, the exact kind of people you need to manage a colossal security event like the Olympics. Part of the general mass exodus of veteran personnel includes the departure of countless tenured supervisors and managers whose experience with major events, civil unrest, traffic control, and logistics leaves an unfillable institutional knowledge void.
And now we reach the newest and most revealing development. LAPD officials have reportedly discussed pausing most police academy classes for roughly 7 months in 2028. The proposal could temporarily move more than 300 officers assigned to training back into street and Olympic duties. Let that sink in. So the department is already struggling to replace the officers who leave. But to meet the immediate Olympic demand, it may slow down the institution responsible for training their replacements. Officials considering the plan reportedly want larger academy classes before and after the games to make up the difference. But that assumes enough qualified people apply. Enough qualified people remain in the process. Enough qualified people graduate and stay with the department. This may help fill positions during the Olympics, but it could create another hole after the Olympics. It is the government equivalent of removing wood from one side of a damaged house to reinforce the other side. You may survive the immediate storm, but the house is still damaged. Stopping tomorrow's training to survive today's shortage is not a long-term public safety strategy. It's an emergency maneuver. Listen, no one should want the Los Angeles Olympics to fail. I'm actually looking forward to it. The truth is, a failed security operation would not embarrass only Karen Bass, the city council, LAPD, or LA 28. It would endanger residents. It would endanger visitors, workers, officers. But supporting the Olympics does not require pretending the city is ready. In fact, asking these questions now is how you prevent a disaster later. Who is paying the $1.5 billion projected staffing bill? How many outside officers actually committed? How will ordinary neighborhoods be protected while personnel are assigned to Olympic venues? What happens to police hiring if academy classes are paused? And what permanent improvements will remain after the cameras leave? Those questions need answers before 2028, not during the opening ceremony. Los Angeles has had more than enough time to prepare properly. What it does not have enough time for is more denial, public relations, and temporary fixes. But tell me what you think. Is Los Angeles going to be ready for the Olympics? Or are city leaders preparing to create a temporary version of Los Angeles that exists only for the cameras? Leave your answer below. Like this video, subscribe to Wolf Kage Los Angeles, and share it with another Angelino, because the world may be coming to Los Angeles, but the people already living here should not become an afterthought. Peace.